Hi guys, you're welcome back to my channel. So if this is what you like to learn, then continue this video. Okay, at this point, these are the measurements that I need. I need my bust, waist, under bust measurements, shoulder to nipple, nipple to nipple measurements, and my half length. We are going to go ahead now and mark out our points on our pattern paper. So I'm going to mark out my half length, my under bust, my shoulder to nipple measure. Those are the 3 points I need. So I'm marking that out now. Guys, subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up, and if you have any question, drop it in the comment section. I will reply to them. So at this point, I'm going to label my part. The upper one is the bust point, which is the shoulder to the nipple. The next one is the under bust, and the next one is my half length. We'll be stopping at half length for this video. So the next thing to do now is to mark out my nipple to nipple measurement. I'm going to be dividing this by 2. So my nipple to nipple measurement is 8. I'll be dividing by 2, which is 4. So I'm going to be marking that right on my pattern paper. And I'm going to extend this out of the lines that I've made before because I need the extra length. So I'm going to be extending that up, and then the next thing to do is to join the lines. Guys, give this video a thumbs up if you love it. Drop your questions in the comment section. I will reply to your messages. So once this is done, the next thing that I'm going to do now is to mark out my dart lines on both the under bust and the half length. So I'm going to be taking 1 inch on either side of the line on both the under bust and the half length line. Then I'm going to connect these 2 points, and then I will connect to the bust point. I'll be connecting my dart legs to the bust point. So we'll be connecting to the bust point, and then once that is done, we'll be drawing out our cup curve. So that is done at this point. So the next thing we are going to do now is to draw out our corset circle, and the measurement we'll be using for this is the nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. So from the bust point, we'll be starting from the bust point. You are going to mark out 4 inches round, just as I'm doing now. All you need to do is to make a circle with 4 inches. Your start point is your bust point. So just keep marking 4 inches round, just as I'm doing now. Just mark 4 inches round. Make sure that the bust point is your start point. Just as I'm doing now, just continue marking it out at this point. Guys, give this video a thumbs up if you love it. Drop your questions in the comment section. So that is done. So at this point, I'm going to be connecting this circle with a dotted line. I'm using a dotted line because we still have alterations to do on this corset pattern. So I'll be using dotted lines for the first circle. So the next thing we are going to do now is to alter this circle. So all you need to do is to go up by ½ inch from your under bust. Go up by ½ inch, and then you move to your bust point. You go up by 1½ inches. Go up by 1½ inches. Then at that point, you mark out ½ inch. Then the next thing is the upper part. Now, if you want your bust to show a little bit, you come down by ½ inch. But if you want your bust to be covered, you come up by ½ inch. So for the sake of this video, we'll be coming up by ½ inch. So we're going to mark out ½ inch at that point. So for the last point, I need to mark out my armhole measurements, armhole length. So I'll be using 8 inches for this. I'm going to be marking 8 inches across my pattern paper. Just mark out 8 inches across, and then you join your line. just as I'm doing right now. Mark out 8 inches and then you connect all the lines just as I'm doing now. Guys, subscribe to my channel. I have loads of other videos. You can check my other videos and we'll be uploading more soon. So on that armhole line, you have to come down by ½ inch as well. Come out by ½ inch, then away from the first circle that we made, you go out by ½ inch as well. So you go out by ½ inch. So at this point, all we need to do is to connect all our 4 new points together. You can use your curve if you have one, and you can use your freehand. I'm going to be using freehand to connect my lines. Just make sure your circles are perfect, because we don't want to have any abnormal shape for our cup. So just connect all your four lines, the 4 new points that we made. Connect them perfectly. Use a perfect circle, just as I'm doing now. Take your time, guys. Take your time when doing this. So I'm connecting the last one at this point. So my circle is done. Perfect, right? So the next thing to do at this point is to mark out the 1 inch dart that we took at the lower part. We are going to be doing the same thing at the upper part, and then we'll connect to the bust point as well, just as we did for the lower dart legs. We are doing the same thing at this point. So that is done now. So the next thing we are going to do is to label. We labeled it 1 and 2 because they are different shapes and we don't want to mix them up when joining. So the next thing we are going to do now is to take our measurement. While taking your measurement, you have to take note of the dart legs that we took. So for my bust part, I'm going to be adding 1 inch, which is the calculation of the 2 dart legs at that point. So I'm going to be adding 1 inch, and then I'll be adding my sewing allowance. Then for the half length, I'm going to be adding 2 inches extra for the dart legs to my measurement. Then I'll take out, then I'm going to add my sewing allowance too at this point. So I'm going to connect to the bust measurement. And with that, the front pattern is done. So we'll move on to the back pattern. At this point, guys, subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up. If you have any question, you can drop it in the comment section. I will attend to your questions. So at this point, we are going to do our back measurement as well. So this is the front pattern. I'm labeling it now. Then the other one is the back pattern. So the first thing you need to do for the back is to extend the armhole line that we made earlier. You are going to extend it to the back, and then you extend your length measurement as well. You extend your length measurement just as you did for the upper part. Just extend the line at this point. So we have our center back at this point. So this is where we'll be adding our zipper allowance. So the next thing to do at this point is to mark out our dart line, and we'll be using the nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. So at this point, I'm marking out 4 inches. Mark out 4 inches from the upper to the lower line, and then you connect your lines. So I'm going to connect my lines now, and then for my zipper allowance part, I'm going to take in ½ inch. I'm going to take in ½ inch. That is for the alteration at the zipper allowance part. Just taking ½ inch at that point. This will make the back lay flat. Give this video a thumbs up if you love it. Subscribe to my channel and drop your questions in the comment section. I will attend to your questions. So that other part is no longer needed. Now the next thing to do now is to take our dart at the lower part. So I'm going to be taking 0.5 on both sides, and I'll be connecting to my dart line. So just follow my measurement. So once that is done, what we are going to do now is to take our measurement. We take our bust measurement at the upper part, and then for the lower part, for the upper part you take your measurements and you add your sewing allowance. Then for the down part you take your measurement. Do not forget to add the extra 1 inch for the dart, and then you add your sewing allowance to that part, and then we'll connect our lines. So with that, all we need to do next is to cut out our pattern. All we need to do now is to cut out the pattern, and we'll be transferring it to the fabric. So guys, all I'm doing now is cut. I'm cutting out my patterns. You have to take your time. You don't want to cut the wrong thing at this point. So you have to take your time and cut out your patterns. Now my pattern is all cut, and then it's ready to transfer to fabric. Guys, subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up. If you have any question, you can drop it in the comment section. Also, if you want to see the sewing video for this, just comment in the comment section. Thank you guys.